Hello everyone, I am Dr. Amit. Welcome back to our channel. Today we are kicking off a brand new pharmacology series. I am incredibly excited to dive into this with you. Now, before we get into specific drugs and their mechanism, there is one fundamental concept we must master. Whether you are a first year MBBS student preparing for the USMLE or getting up for your PG entrance exam, you cannot escape this topic called enzyme kinetics. So it is the absolute bedrock of understanding how drugs actually work in the body. So let's break down the basic today. And before we jump in, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video in this series. So let's first understand what is enzyme kinetics. Okay. So in a simple language, enzyme kinetics is a study of how fast an enzyme works, and more importantly for us, how drugs affect that speed. Okay. So it is a study of how fast an enzyme works and how drugs affect that speed. Okay. So let's visualize this concept like this. Okay. So think enzymes as a worker and substrate as a raw material and products as the finished item. Okay. So now think that kinetic is just measuring how quickly, okay, how quickly the worker convert these raw materials into the finished item. Okay. So now let's talk about the substrate relationship. Okay. So here is a key point to remember. Okay, that when you increase the substrate, okay, substrate means raw material, so when you increase the substrate, the reaction speed will increase. Okay, but there is a catch: it only increase up to a limit, because eventually every single worker, every enzymes which are working get fully occupied. So once all the enzymes are busy, the system is saturated and you cannot go any faster no matter how much material is added. Okay, so but so it's written here that but only up to a limit, because enzymes get fully busy. Okay, now we'll talk about some important terms. Okay, that is Vmax, the maximum velocity, and one is Km, that is Michaelis constant. Okay, so these two terms are very important for your exam point of view. Okay, so let's talk about first Vmax, this maximum velocity. Okay, so we define Vmax is as the maximum speed of the reaction when all the enzymes are occupied. Means what will be the rate of reaction when all the workers are occupied, when all the workers are working. Okay, so maximum speed of reaction when all enzymes are occupied. Okay, thinks that like all workers are busy, no more workers are left to work. Okay, so this Vmax is directly proportional to the enzyme concentration. Okay? This is all about Vmax. Now we'll talk about Km, that is Michaelis constant. Okay, so always remember that Km is the amount of substrate need to reach half of Vmax. So how will remember that how much raw material we can use, okay, to make half of the worker busy. Okay, so amount of substrate, so amount of raw material needed to reach half of Vmax, the half of this reaction speed. Okay, maximum speed. Okay, now it is inversely related to affinity of the enzyme, okay, for its substrate. Okay, so if the Km is more, okay, then the affinity will decrease. If Km is less, the affinity will increase. So low Km enzyme works efficiently, means the affinity of enzyme for the substrate will increase, or we can say that the affinity of substrate for its enzyme will increase. Okay, if the Km is high, then enzyme works less efficiently. Okay, so this is all about this Vmax and Km. Okay, so thank you for watching. In our next video, we are going to take this as a step further, looking at the different curves and how competitive and non-competitive inhibitor change this value. So if you found this helpful, please subscribe and share this video with your colleagues, and stay tuned. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.